Alright my friends, it was quite an interesting announcement the other day when we finally got Medieval 3. And I mean, I was watching live, I was with a lot of you guys, and it was plenty fun in the anticipation of it, let's say. And I mean, as you can tell, I was pretty excited about the announcement myself. Yo! Medieval fucking 3, let's go!
Yes, Medieval 3 is real.
However, and something that needs to be talked about, is this period between now and when Medieval 3 is actually coming. And it seems like that will be not measured in months, not measured in decades, but very likely, and which has become obvious, measured in years. Medieval 3 will not be coming for the next 2 years. It will likely be here in the next 3 to 6 years. First of all, on the announcement itself, I wish to say that I think the announcement of Medieval 3 is fantastic. If you have been following my channel, I think Medieval 2 is one of the best Total War games of all time, and I think Medieval 3 is the game CA needs to make. As such, not having Medieval 3 be announced was the worst thing that could happen at this conference. Having it announced and be in early pre-production and being you know, coming out in the next 3 to 6 years is the second worst thing that could have happened, likely. However, another really good thing that happened at the announcement was the announcement of the next Total War engine, at least the iteration of it, the War Core engine. And I'm very happy to hear about this, not just because we have asked for a new engine for many years. So, you know, hopefully this will not just allow CA to make new Total Wars that feel new and that actually unlocks new core possibilities. I think that is crucial and one of the most exciting aspects of Medieval 3. And whatever game CA announces on the 11th at the Game Awards. I think that is going to be very exciting. Now, what is more exciting about the new engine, or at least equally exciting, and I'm very happy to say and hear that this engine is still an in-house engine for CA. I am very happy, overjoyed actually, to hear that CA is not moving towards Unreal Engine 5 or other engines of that nature, because those engines have so many issues with them. Even though they can obviously look amazing, they can run amazing, we have time and time again seen games that simply do not perform well. And the more games running on UE5, the more sort of game visual and mechanical incest we kind of see. And many games that run on UE5, they tend to blend. They kind of start looking more alike, and you know, they don't feel as unique as many other games on their own proprietary engines do. And so I'm very happy that CA continues to develop their own engine. Now, I think CA, and I don't know what CA will do in the future. I have no information on that. I know just as much as you guys do. I think it's a shame, a big shame, that we did not get a Medieval 2 remastered. Some of you, you know, will counter that with, why should we get a lazy remaster, blah blah blah. However, Medieval 2 is still a good game. It just doesn't run appropriately well in terms of controls, sometimes performance, blah 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 on modern hardware. It wasn't meant for that, of course. So I think a remaster, not just for better visuals, perhaps more mechanics, you know, perhaps even more DLC, anything can be done. Before the, you know, possibility for us to have something new that's probably not as difficult to make as a completely new game. And if the same things were done to it as Feral last time with Rome Remastered did with Rome, right? Where the modding limits were largely removed. I mean, imagine that for a Medieval 3, a Medieval 2 Remastered, where Medieval 2's mods are often held behind, or I mean held back by these limitations in terms of factions, in terms of cities, and I'm sure that could do a lot. I love Medieval 2. My latest video actually, goes over Medieval 2 in quite the detail. I would love a remaster, and I want to see the mods for it. I want to see the community come back to a Medieval 2 that feels fresh in core ways. And I think it's the perfect holdover to Medieval 3, which is still so far away. Any remaster will do, honestly. I'm excited for most Total War announcements concerning history. Feral has done a lot of good work on Medieval 2, Empire, now for mobile, and I don't really see why we can't have these things ported over to PC, Another major thing that we do really need for historical Total War moving forward until Medieval 3 comes out, and hopefully sooner rather than later, is an update to the current games, namely essentially half the library, right? Empire, Napoleon, Shogun 2, Attila. None of these games have a UI appropriate for modern 4K screens. You cannot size the UI how you'd like it to. That is a big issue because more and more people will have 4K monitors, and those UIs are tiny, okay? They are virtually unplayable in the traditional sense. You're gonna have to sit very close to the monitor to read what's going on. CA just going back and sort of, doing like a little bit of a house cleaning on their older titles, which I don't think would be too much work, but they would garner so much goodwill in the community, especially if they updated, Attila's engine to 64-bit, blah, blah, blah. So much good could be done. And I think, there are so many amazing mods for these older titles, Attila, Medieval 2, blah, 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 that would be given a new life because of these fixes that only CA can make. So while I'm very happy about Medieval 3 being announced, I think I kind of just wanted to give a little overview, like my opinion on what this situation kind of feels like. It's a little bit weird to be so excited for a title, and then when it's announced you realize that it might as well not be, because we're not going to see it for many years. CA did also announce that they would be a lot more public with Medieval 3's, community outreach and sort of keeping us updated on the development cycle, and hopefully, maybe take info and inspiration from the community, which I have talked about a lot that they should do. It's a very good sign. Hopefully it's more than just a quarterly thing. Anything is better than what has been in the past. So let's hope that they stick to their word and we get what we are told we're gonna get. But yeah, the big announcement was here. The historical community got on paper what it wanted, at least most of us, but it's far away. And I really do think that these smaller tidbits of updates for older games, even a Medieval 2 remaster, I think it would go a long way to make a lot of people happy. So that's essentially my message, and I think my hopes for the coming year. Probably the coming year. Anything after that, and it feels like we're waiting a long time for fixes that probably doesn't take that long. It's understandable if a Medieval 2 remaster takes a bit longer, but hopefully not more than 1 to 2 years, right? And I don't know, who knows, maybe they're already making it and they'll announce it at some point. But I really wanted to hear something about it now, and I think the fact that we didn't hear something about it now is kind of worrying. However, these things might not take that long to develop, and once they are, maybe they'll announce it right away, so you never know. These are my hopes. Let me know your hopes, and and thoughts on Medieval 3 and everything else in the comments. This is not like a, highly edited whatever video, just, talking to you guys like I did during the live stream, which was very nice. Loved having you guys there. So let me know your thoughts, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, all that jazz, and I hope we get more historical Total War in one way or another sooner rather than later. Alright, see you next time. Cheers.